listen. Now, yesterday, the historic election went down in Georgia between Reelected Senator Raphael Warnock and Herschel Walker. At certain points in the night, it was not looking good for the senator, which I wasn't worried because I knew what I was looking at. But I know people was nervous because they was on Facebook like, oh, my God. But ultimately, he pulled through with the win, and a big win to me. And online, to break everything down, how it will affect the Senate moving forward is our good friend, CNN political analyst, attorney, and New York Times best-selling author Bakari Sellers. Bakari, good morning.
Good morning.
Man, that was a long night. Had me up to like 2:00 in the morning. I just couldn't stop watching. I was even watching Fox. I was watching y'all. Man, it was crazy last night, man. Where do we start, man? Did you know he was gonna win?
Yeah, I mean, I think many people who were watching Georgia felt like he was overperforming in many of those small rural counties where there are a lot of Republican voters. You know, he knew he was going to get beat in those counties, but he wasn't getting beat as bad. And Fulton, DeKalb, Gwinnett, Cobb, you know, those areas that are in Atlanta and around Atlanta. I mean, I said they showed up like black people at church. They showed up like right after devotion, right before the sermon, and just on time. So when those votes came in, we knew it was a game over then because Raphael Warnock just did what he was supposed to do in that Atlanta metro area, and we got up for 6 more years now.
Right. Yeah, it was like 53,000 something votes in Cobb County. Now that you mention it, that was crazy. But when it was showing those counties that you just named, that it was like 88% votes in, and I knew that those counties right there. And one of the analysts was getting phone calls from people from Republican, from people on the Republican side saying it's over, it's a wrap. I was sitting there watching because I just couldn't believe it. I said maybe they know something I didn't know. But at what point, Bakari, did you ever get nervous during the count, or you're like, oh my God?
No, I mean, the work had been done. I mean, you began to see the early voting numbers come in first, and you saw how strong those were. You saw him overperforming. I mean, he won Fulton County 91% to 9%. I mean, that's just huge. And what you have to realize is that there was a great deal of resentment that black voters have for Herschel Walker. It was that they put up somebody who, although he looked like us, didn't represent our values, didn't represent the intellect, the ability to go to D.C. and carry a conversation, and was shucking and jiving, and that resentment made black folk come out in large numbers, and not just Atlanta, but also in Richmond County, which we know as Augusta, and also in Savannah, and so it was a good night for democracy.
So, Bakari, I got a couple of questions a couple of points for you to speak on. Now, with this win by Raphael Warnock, do you think that this lessens the effect of Joe Manchin and the Kirsten Sinema, and also does this further damage the effect of Donald Trump as a potential candidate in 24?
So those are two very, very, very good questions. Very good questions. The first is, yes, it does lessen the impact of Joe Manchin. It allows a lot of the ideals that Joe Biden wants to pass to go through a little bit easier. There's a big difference between a 50-50 Senate and a 51-49 Senate. Now, you don't have to have split committees. You can get through judges a lot quicker, appointments a lot quicker. And so the Senate will move a lot smoother. A lot of those weird investigations they're going to launch in the House because they have the majority, you'll be able to push back against those in the Senate. So it really will help and unlock the potential of the Senate. In terms of Donald Trump, this is going to sound different, but I actually think it makes him stronger. I mean, look, he got beat in 2021.
You think this made Trump stronger?
And the reason why is, with the indictments, with the conviction of his company losing last night, I think there are going to be a lot of Republican candidates who think that they can beat him for the president of the United States. And what that means is that instead of having a field of 1 or 2 or 3 people, it's going to be a big Republican field, upwards of 10 people running. And Donald Trump still controls 25% of the Republican Party. And if he continues to get 25% in the primary all throughout, he'll be the nominee again. And I think that, you know, there are a lot of people who think he's weak, which means more people will run, which actually benefits him.
But, I mean, Bakari, every candidate that he picked lost. You got Ron DeSantis down there, sitting down there waiting or whatever. Me personally, I hope that Donald Trump get the Republican nomination because he's going to bring out the Democrat because black folks, we feel the way we feel about Donald Trump. I really hope, because I'm definitely voting for Donald Trump in the damn primary.
I'm with you. Yeah. But I'll tell you this. I mean, it's not just Ron DeSantis. I mean, you got Nikki Haley, you got Tim Scott, you got Mike Rogers, you got Mike Pompeo, you got Mike Pence. You got all of these Republicans who are going to run for president, and the more people that run for president, if he continues to trot along at 25%, the better off he'll be.
Yeah, but I think America kind of showed that they're kind of done with the crazy and the far extreme right politics. Right. And I don't think he's going to have the same juice he had in 2016.
No, I'm not. No, you're missing what I'm saying. I don't think that he's going to be president of the United States again. I mean, I just think he's going to be able to win a primary because more people are going to run against him. And I think that what we saw was, you're correct in your analysis, it was a rejection of all the crazy from Arizona to Nevada to Pennsylvania all the way down throughout Georgia. And so it doesn't bode well for Republicans in the long run. But I would love to have a matchup with any Democrat, you know, whether or not it's Raphael Warnock or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom or whomever versus Donald Trump in 2024. I'd take that matchup any day of the week.
Yep, man. Hey, Bakari, thank you so much for jumping on with us. We run it. Look, let everybody know how you can be reached, man, and thank you for coming on this morning.
Always. Bakari_Sellers on Twitter, Bakari Sellers on IG. Much love to all of you all. And shout out to everybody in Georgia who showed up to vote. We owe you a debt of gratitude.
I know that's right. Y'all, one time for Bakari Sellers. Front page coming up next. Rickey Smiley Morning Show.